The first image you're about to see is a factory backup camera. Here's the image for the updated camera. What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the Acura Audio Garage. Today we continue the DIY Pro Series on our Acura MDX. We're going to be upgrading our factory backup camera. So here, this is the camera on a 2007, 2008, 2009. If you have a 2010 to 13, you have a backup camera no matter what. If you have a 2007, 8, 9, you only have a backup camera if you have navigation. You get a lot of complaints about this camera, the clarity, how bad it is in poor lighting. So we're gonna try a couple different cameras and we'll see which one works the best. I'm gonna show you two ways to do this. There's the universal way, which is this little harness right here. It's gonna plug into the back of navigation. It's gonna allow you to install almost any camera. Or the easier way, which is going to hook up in the plug back here, but it's gonna take a very specific camera to work. But I'll show you all of it, so let me jump into the video. All right, so no matter what, we're gonna have to take this rear deck lid off. It's not too hard. It's really just a bunch of clips. So you're gonna start with this. Come on. So this just has these clips right here. And then we're gonna move on to this piece. This does have a little bit of a stronger clip, but again, this comes right off. And then here, same thing. You're just gonna pull, and that comes right off. Then this is a little trickier. It doesn't really have any screws, but I do like to get these covers off. So this has no screws, but these lights you do want to unplug. So either a panel tool or something, you're gonna jam right in this little groove right here and pop the light off. And then here's the connector. It just has a little tab. Press the little tab down, and there you go. So I'll show you the tab one sec. So here it is. Push down, pull the light out. Same thing with the other one. You want to come over here and get this. Come on. There we go. And then unplug. Okay. Now the next part of this is going to be right here. This, you're going to stick your pry tool and pop it out. I pre-popped mine so it's easier to show you on video, but it's just going to pop out. It just has clips and then one more connector. If you don't have the power lift gate, you won't have this. But there might be something here that you need to remove, so just be aware of that. And now with all that out, I'm just gonna pick this little side at the top, a corner, and begin prying down. It's all clips, so oh man, they are gonna be stubborn, but it's gonna be, there we go, pretty easy to get off. No screws, just all clips. I'm gonna put this right here so I can show you. So just a variation of different clips all around it, but no actual screws. And that leads to our camera connection. Our camera connection is right here. This is our factory backup camera connection, and it's gonna look different. So I know this is for an MDX, but if you're watching this video, you have a TL, a TSX of the same year. Well, a TL really. The TL camera is gonna look like this, and it's gonna have the same connector. So this is gonna apply directly. So here, we're gonna start with the easy upgrade, which is just going to be running wire into here, straight into this connector. The only thing is you're going to need a very specific camera for this to work. It's going to need to work off of 5 or 6 volts of power and be a certain viewing angle so that it looks right. But I'll show you that. I'm just going to now remove this so I have better access to this camera. All right, guys, so I took my cover off. It's just one screw screwed into the bottom here, comes right out, and then I took those screws off. I have 2 other screws I need to get to here and there, and then I can bring this down, and then I'll bring the camera out and show you. So you may be wondering, how the hell does this camera come off? It gave me a little bit of trouble. So it has these 2 inserts that have to come out, and you're gonna get your pry tool, just like this one, right in there. You're gonna wanna protect this when you go to add force against it so you don't scratch your metal. So just a nice towel right here will do enough, or a piece of plastic. These have to pull out, so then you can get to these screws so you can remove the camera entirely, and this whole piece comes with you. It's just big enough to fit the connector. There you go. Now we got the whole assembly out. We're gonna test mount our new camera. We have the license plate light camera, so we'll actually fit into this license plate housing. So we might just remove this altogether. We'll see how it looks in the end. But first, we're gonna need to plug things into here, verify that we get an image up there that looks good. Just ignore the beeping because it's in reverse. So here's the harness, plugs into here, and then you're going to have to ground it. There's a screw right here. There's a bunch of screws here, but that's the one I recommend you use. Then it gives you these 2 pigtails. You get power pigtail, looks like this. and then you get the RCA. These are standard camera connections, so you'll find them on every camera. And here you go. So this is the camera. You can see it up there. It's hard to see, it's far away, but it is a little clearer than the factory. And this is the camera we sell, harness we sell. So this will work together. This camera can work off 5, 6, 7, 8 volts, up to 12 volts of power. I'm going to try different cameras. We'll see which one will work. But here, you only have 6 volts of power, so you need to make sure that the camera you use can run off 6 volts. If you buy the camera and the harness from us, you're good. It'll be plug and play as you see. You just have to mount this camera. We'll cover that a little bit later on. Right now, we're going to try different cameras. So I'm sure you've seen it. There are these cameras called AHD. It's a different video format that gives you a higher resolution video. Your factory screen is not going to be able to handle it. So here, let me show you what I'm talking about. So an AHD camera is going to look like that. It's not even coming up. It's all messed up. So you can't run that camera. You need a traditional NTSC camera. So this won't work. If night performance is really important to you and you'd really rather have either LEDs or IR lighting on your camera, you can look at a solution like that. Obviously, you can't use an AHD camera like this one is, but you could use another camera that has LEDs. Here's another camera. This I think is like the Amazon special, so I'm gonna test this, see how this looks. So this was like a $20 or $25 camera on Amazon, and same thing, it's an AHD camera, so I don't know if you can see, but the screen's like flickering and stuff. It's not gonna line up with the format that you need, so this camera's not gonna work either. This is a random camera a customer brought us. They ended up not using it. It didn't work out for how they wanted to install it, but here's the camera, and again, this is a format that doesn't work. So let me show you what that looks like on the screen. You can see the camera has backup lines, so the backup lines come on, but the actual display, it doesn't show anything. It's no good. So I'm gonna test one more. I might show it to you, may not, and then we'll go on with mounting the camera. So we sell 2 cameras for the MDX. One's gonna mount here with your license plate light. The other one's gonna mount here. Sorry. The other one's gonna mount here across the license plate frame. So it's up to you where you wanna put it. I'm gonna put ours right here. I have everything off, so putting it in should be no problem. I'll show you how to do that. So after you add the foam padding to the little brackets, now you need to take the factory bracket off. The way that this comes off is it has a little push tab right here, and you're just gonna compress this just enough to get it to come down and be loose. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it on camera. I'm just gonna swap and I'll show it to you. This has 2 pieces. This lip right here slides over, and then this clips in place. You know you've done it right because it is not going to go anywhere. It's nicely in there and clipped in. Now I'm going to remove this and then put this trim piece back. If you're going with the license plate light camera, it is tricky to slide this back in. You're gonna go underneath first and then come over. It's gonna take a little bit of force. I'll get it done, but just letting you know it's tricky. The license plate frame camera is a little bit easier to install because you don't have to deal with this, but you do have to drill a hole to get the camera wire through here, and that could be a little bit more involved than someone would like to be. So I find this easier, no drilling, nothing. You're just taking the cover off, putting the cover back on, and running your wire. All right, guys, so here's the image of the new camera. And you can see it's a little wider than the factory. I'll put the factory image up here so you have something to compare to. And it has a smudge. I need to clean that, but I'm going to activate the parking lines now so you can see where they are. So to activate the parking lines, you're just going to disconnect power or power cycle the car. And then this green wire right here, right there, a little green loop. Okay, so you cut that little green loop, you split the wire so it's not whole anymore, and then you power the camera back on. This is what it looks like with the parking lines. It's a little out of whack because you see more of this than here because of the location where it is, but overall it serves as a guide. It's really up to you if you want those parking lines or not. If you want active parking lines, you could do that, a camera as well, but you're gonna have to run a wire all the way to the front. So I'm going to show you how to mount the license plate camera in case you're interested in that option, and then we'll talk about the universal way to kind of use any camera as long as the video format is correct. So the license plate frame camera isn't a bad choice. I like this one better, but if you have a situation where you need to see lower or you need to see higher, then this camera works really great because it's adjustable. The only thing is this camera does get in the way of the latch. So the latch is right here You kind of have to get your fingers between it or on one side so it gets in the way. You could mount it lower, but then it might look silly. They're meant to go up there and your license plate in front of it. It's up to you how you want to mount it, but I'm going to show you what this looks like. And this camera are the same camera. They're just mounted on different locations. There is one more mount you can use that would go here. It's like a universal mount, but I don't recommend that. I just go with this camera if that's what you're looking for, one of the side mounted cameras. So you see, I don't see the bumper anymore. I see more of what's behind me. You can see my dog right there. You could adjust it more up or more down. So if you use this to tow, you can adjust it down and really see what you're hooking. If you use it for something else, let's say you want to see for some reason all the way up behind you, you can do that as well. So the benefit of this, again, it just gets in the way. The image is the same, so it's just up to you which one you prefer. If you're installing the camera the universal way, you're gonna need to run wire from back here, and you might need to pick up the reverse signal. So I'm gonna play the clip from the backup camera installation to show you where to tap and then how to run your wire. You're gonna run your wire in through here, down through here, and I'm already on this side. But I'm just gonna play that clip for you so you have an idea if you're gonna do a universal camera install, where you're gonna route your wire and where you're gonna get your reverse signal from. To black, red to brown, and for my instance, I soldered it just to be safe. Now I'm gonna put a tape and zip tie to release the pressure. Then I'm gonna zip tie this all the way down, and then we'll start snaking it. Right, so our wire is zip tied. I have some to cut still, but I just wanted to show you the path I took. So came from here, this way, down this line, across this, blah, 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 to here. Now I have to snake into here, out of this, and then into here. These are just rubber grommets, so you can literally just pull them out with your fingers, just like that. Or you can use a pry tool, plastic pry tool. The biggest, toughest thing is going to be getting inside of this and massaging the wire through, but it is possible. I'll show you some tricks on how to do it. So to snake this wire through this boot and in the car, really, to make your life easier, you want to pick up a zip tie, 36-inch zip tie. You get these on Amazon. You can get them at Home Depot if you need it today. And then you want some multi-purpose lubricant or some silicone lubricant. This is really what's going to help you. So in here, this is made of silicone or some plastic. So we're going to spray actually a little bit into the boot. Let me see if I can get, yeah, so a little bit into the boot. It's tough to see, but into there. And then we're gonna massage it all around because we want it to come down. We just don't want any wire to get caught by this, and then you're stuck pulling wire. The other thing is to make sure that the RCA makes it. You want to make a really good incline like that. You don't want to expose the tip because it's gonna bend. We'll make a nice little incline so it can slide right through anything that you need to slide it through. And the first one is pretty simple. You're just gonna go in here. You're gonna push it in. You're gonna get some resistance. It's just a matter of playing around with it. Took a little bit of wrestling, but now I got it out the other side. So I'm just gonna pass it through here first. Here you don't really need any silicone lubricant. You just need to get it through the hole. And the hole is big enough to run the wire. It's not gonna be a problem. You do want to be careful back here. You don't just want to yank this way. You want to use your finger to push like this. I'm not sure how to explain that, but basically by pushing that way, you're pulling the wire that way first and then towards you, so you're not scraping it on anything or getting it caught somewhere. So just gonna finish snaking all of this and then we'll get through this boot. I'm gonna show you now how to get in here. So I'm gonna come in from an angle like this, and now you can see I'm right here right now. You can see it's poking through. You're gonna push down there and then push here at the same time to continue to move it forward. So you're gonna push in, massage down, keep pushing in, keep massaging down. Eventually, now I'm right here, and this is the tricky part. This has tape that's stopping it from coming all the way through, but I think the tape's on the other side, so I should be able to. I'm through on this side and in through this side. You gotta be careful though. This is where you're gonna find out if you crossed any of these wires. You don't want to be across any of these wires because when you go to pull, it's gonna make it really hard. But right now I'm just gonna pull a little bit. I think I'm good, but this is what's gonna let us know for real And now before it goes in, you just want to spray some silicone lubricant on this. Be better than me, cover your seat, but this is our demo car, so it doesn't matter. But I want to make sure this is fully lubed up and shiny. And now I'm gonna start pulling it through. I'm gonna try to get this on camera, but you're gonna have to massage it as well. And I got the head through, and I didn't do any damage to our harness here or anything. And it's really just about that silicone lubricant and really good tape job. So now I can just finish pulling my wire, and then I'm gonna snake my wire into here next, but we'll cover that after I put this all together. Now we have to snake the wire into the cabin, into this hole. Now you can get to this hole from the inside pretty easily. That's not the problem. The problem is getting the wire either across this way, down, or however you want to do it. If this was a professional install that you brought the car to us for, we would disassemble all of this and partially some of this to snake the wire down and underneath and through to the other side. In this case, this is a DIY, so we're going to do it the easy way or the hack way. I don't know, however you want to call it, but this will keep the camera wire safe, and that's really all you care about. You don't want it to get pinched. You're not going to see it. You're not going to zip tie it along the way till it gets about over here, but ultimately this will work fine. You don't have to worry. I don't recommend this with any power cable, only with cameras, because it's not that big a deal. If they pinch, you can just fix it. If you want to see how this comes off, it's the exact same as the other side. We showed you how the other side comes off in the video for the subwoofer. So if you want to see how that comes off, check out the subwoofer video. Show you how to remove that entire panel. It is a pain in the ass. It is going to take you some time. So if you want to save that time, you might want to do it this way. To do it this way, we're going to pull this off. Literally, you just reach in and pull it off. And then we're going to pop this up. This you can start from different areas. I find that the easiest is on the edges. You just kind of got to get your finger in there, or if not, it's really stubborn. I had to go get a pry tool to get it started, but I did start this side, and now I can just continue with my hand just pulling up, and it should come up. It does have a couple clips to make sure the clips come with it, and the reason we did that is so that we can free up more of this, so we can flex this a little bit. It is tough. It's barely gonna give, but this is the area where you want to open up right around here, because that's the area where our snake should come out the other side. Now what we're going to do is here, you want to make sure your hands are clean. You don't want to dirty this. You're going to stick your finger in between here, and this has little clips. You just need to loosen those two clips enough so that you can play with this here to see your snake. There's an airbag right there, so you want to be real careful. This, if you're yanking on this, this is gonna break. This has a clip, a collapsible clip that's for the airbag. So when you break those clips, you can fix them, but if you break them all the way, you're gonna need to replace them. They do sell them, you can get them on Amazon or the dealer. But ultimately, we're gonna say that ours is broken. This car was in the crash before, but yours isn't broken. You don't wanna pull and pull here. All we wanna do is use this little crevice right here to snake our wire in and then push our wire down. So this, from here that way. So the reason why you want to zip tie is so you could do things like this. So in this situation, I need to bend about 90 degrees. So this isn't going to bend 90 degrees per se, but it'll go close. And you see that little bend? That helps me a lot when I turn this corner to get it exactly where I need it to get it to. I see it now. It's just a matter of turning it the right way. So it took me some time and some messing around, but you definitely can do it. You want to be behind the airbag. Notice how I'm behind it. Now I'm just going to pull the rest of my wire through. You want to make sure you're behind the airbag. You don't want to impede the way of the airbag at all. This back, this is fully seated. This one up here is fully seated as well. And now my wire is right there. I haven't done any damage to this. It's not dirty or anything. Now, because I pulled this, I can use that to get my wire behind it and bring it down. I'm gonna pop this cover off, take this carpet off, come on, take this carpet right off, and then you're gonna run your wire down through this crevice. you're gonna snake it, and then your snake is gonna end up right over on this side. Down here, these just have clips, so you're just pushing off, and now I can pull the rest of my wire, and then from here on it's easy sailing. I'm just gonna zip tie it here a few places so that it doesn't get pulled or disconnected anywhere. Now if you want to install any other backup camera, you're gonna need this harness. This hooks up into the back of the navigation. You could use this to send the navigation your own video and trick it into being in reverse so it always shows your own video, but the navigation drive needs to work in order to show this image. But I'll show you where this plugs in. So this is gonna plug into right here. This connector is gonna plug in right here. You're just gonna unplug that one, plug this one in. Then this right here needs to go to one of these screws so that it goes to ground. And then this is 6 volts, so you're not going to use this, but you'll hook up your RCA to right here. This is a lot more versatile. It lets you run other multiple wires back here. So if you want to power your camera on always, if you want to tie your camera into a multi-camera system, it's a little more versatile than hooking up the wire here. But ultimately they do the same thing, so it's up to you. If you want the easiest camera upgrade, just get the camera from us and the harness that plugs in over there, so you don't have to run all this wiring, could have an easier time. So now all I need to do is take this, snake it either over or underneath my carpet, and connect it to the harness back there. Now depending on your exact circumstance, you might need to hook up these 2 red wires. So this one is taped off, this one is taped off. In our use case, we're not hooking them up. We are getting power from this light right here, so we are not hooking them up. That's where we're getting power. If you're doing an always on installation, you'd be getting power from somewhere else. If you were using always on a camera that can handle 6 volts of power, you can hook up your red wire here. But in our use case, we're getting power from the actual camera. We're getting power from the actual backup light, so we'll only have power when we're in reverse. So we don't hook those up. The way this goes, this gets taped off, this goes to ground, so you can see we have it screwed right there. And then our RCAs just get plugged in, and then our new camera is ready to go. Let me show it to you. There's our new camera view with the fixed parking lines. If you're thinking about upgrading the camera, I highly recommend it. I'm gonna do some now comparisons between the factory camera and the aftermarket camera so that you can see what they look like in low light, in this light setting, and then with stuff behind them. So the first image you're about to see is a factory backup camera. So that's the factory camera. You can see some of my bumper. You can see the things around it. It's not terrible, but you can upgrade this camera. So now let me show you the upgraded version. Here's the image for the updated camera. So I don't know how well you can pick it up on camera, but the detail is a little bit better. The resolution's a little bit higher. And now I'm gonna show you what it looks like at night or with the lights off in here. Here's the factory backup camera in the dark. You can barely see anything. So here's the aftermarket camera in the dark. You can see it is struggling. The car is in reverse, and we're just using the reverse lights to light up this image. That's gonna cover the backup camera upgrade. If you're really worried about night performance, I recommend finding a camera that has IR or LED lighting and using that, because at night even this updated camera still struggled. There just isn't enough light for the camera to capture it to show it to you correctly. So if that's really important to you, IR or LED lighting. If you're looking for just better image in the daytime, this camera is night and day better than this camera. It's just a lot clearer and you get to see more behind you. The viewing angles are almost the same, but this one, I guess because it's over a little bit more and it's aimed up, you can see a little bit more what's behind you. But I mean, you tell me what you think from the images. All that's left is to put these covers back, and it's just a reverse of how you took them out. And that's really it. If you have any questions regarding the camera stuff, feel free to leave down a comment. If you're looking for how to install a backup camera in your MDX that doesn't have one, check out the Acura MDX backup camera installation video, which is different from this video. This video is upgrading the factory backup camera to the factory screen. If you have a 2010 to 13 MDX and you want to upgrade that camera, it's possible. It's just a little bit more tricky. I believe the connection's the same. You can still run the wire up to the screen, but since you have no navigation drive, your camera connection is actually up in that corner over there, hidden behind the dash where you can plug in for a new camera, or you have to intercept the 28 pin connector that plugs into the screen and plug your connection in there. That's a little bit more tricky, but it is possible. I didn't cover in this video. I don't have a newer MDX, but if you do and you want to update that camera, it is possible. You can run the wire up to where I told you behind the glove box. There's a connector, it's 8 pins, I believe, or you can update back here. I believe this connection is the same as well. So that's up to you if you have a newer MDX. That's gonna wrap up the video, guys. I appreciate it if you gave the video a like. Thanks.